here, and I have another thought. Today, I was thinking about value and standards, and how currently standards are absolutely being erased in our society, and no one is supposed to have any, and if you do, that's a sign that you are imploring some sort of privilege, I guess. I don't really understand why they're erasing the standards, because it makes more sense to help, build people's minds, you know, to help them reach the standards to achieve what they can in this society. Because the disparities, I guess that's the argument that the disparities, help create the standards. So those who have been disparaged or oppressed or whatever, the downtrodden, they can't meet those standards because of their oppression. I think that's absolutely a ridiculous thought process that we debase systems or any processes or any institution by destroying standards. I think that we have to build up. I think actually what I think is that this is the current, the baby boomers and the older generations. I think it's actually, this is all a midlife crisis. That's why it's a recycle of all this old 60s and 70s rhetoric from these midlife crisis having socialists and Marxists. So what they're doing is trying to, their last gasp, and which they're actually being really successful at, is influence the other generation to just not have any standards. The standards that they had to go through to most likely get into their positions. But destroying standards does not, it doesn't have anything to do with helping the oppressed. It actually helps, or the downtrodden. It actually goes to debasing the entire society and make sure that nobody has standards. We don't have standards of dress. We don't have standards of looks. We don't have standards of weight. We don't have standards. We don't even have standards of athletic accomplishment. Because even athletic accomplishment is being attributed to some, inane or arbitrary characteristic, or some outside force that has nothing to do with their athletic prowess or their proficiency or all the hard work that they put in to get to the point where they are today. And I think that's the same with a lot of other fields in our society, is that the standards, people got to where they were just by hard work and dedication. I understand that oftentimes, especially in this a white supremacist society, that there are, the white people, some white people actually, have gotten a leg up. I think in my white privilege, I do want to do one of these about white privilege eventually, and I want to outline white privilege. Actually, most white people have never benefited from it. It's just kind of like a rumor, really. I'll outline that better in another essay, and I think I could be pretty convincing. But anyway, I just think that that also goes to value. So I don't want to speak in value in necessarily the monetary sense. I want to speak of value in the terms of how do we put value on things. Because if you're eroding the standards, I think that means the value of the institution or whatever standards you're, lowering or lessening for some supposed historical atonement, is actually weakening the institution where these standardless people are entering into. So that lessens the value of those institutions, which means that these institutions are almost becoming invaluable to this society, or not valuable. Does invaluable mean it's good? I don't know. I'm fucking up. But anyway, I think that we cannot allow ourselves to change values, because it's similar to, I always think about this, as above, so below. Like how bottom feeders have become delicacies in restaurants. that's kind of how the value is working now. So like the good institutions are now like valueless, and like a lot of the degeneracy and debased things are gaining this like supreme, almost divine value. And it's like, man, this is why they're eroding all the standards. So these nut jobs can enter in these institutions and just destroy them from the inside out, because the standards have been eroded. So that means anybody can do any job essentially. And then when there's a rise in incompetence, we wonder why you know things are the way they are. So it's very wrong to debase standards. You always raise the person to the standard, and that is something that we have to figure out how to do. We cannot erase standards, because all it does is destroy value. And that's my thought today.